So, welcome to another episode of the VIA VHS Retro Movie Podcast, your virtual video store. Each week, we go back and look at a movie from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and we decide if it still holds up, if it's still worth looking at, and if it's changed. Our opinions have changed since we watched it in our formative years. And this episode, we're going back to 1996 to check out tonight's featured rental, which is The Ghost and the Darkness. Ooh, I didn't even look if I have that on VHS. I think I do.
Yeah, I don't think I got it on VHS, but I got this kind of real old school DVD. This is a 1998 one. So when I went to turn it on, it was like, yep, not formatted for widescreen. I'm not going to be watching this then. So I ended up renting it. But it's one of
Yeah.
those Paramount movies. I don't know if you can see that there, but
Mm.
Paramount movies with that little banner on the bottom mostly is always a telltale sign that it's not going to be formatted.
Rat bastards.
And the worst part too is that widescreen TVs were out in the 90s. I don't know who had one, but they were out.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about those people? It's during the break between the tail of the tape and the rewind review, I'm gonna check and see if I have that on VHS because I forgot to even look. I think I do.
Yeah, I don't think I got it on VHS, but yeah, I got the DVD one there and so on like that. And it's a must-own movie. And now I'm kind of realizing I need to upgrade.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those movies that years and years ago, like in the early days of us podcasting, I think we looked at this movie. I'm pretty sure. I've reviewed it in some capacity. I don't know when and where it was. I think you and I did this.
No, I don't think we did, to tell you the truth, or at least I
Yeah.
really don't remember it. And I'm pretty good at remembering all the ones we've done.
Yeah. Maybe this is one of the ones I did by myself, but I do remember reviewing it. And yeah, I haven't watched it since then. And this is one, I would flip on the television every once in a while. I'll be flipping through the channels and this would be on. And this is a remote drop movie. This is a dad movie for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I feel like I saw my papa watching this one time, getting into it when we were at the beach. He's like, you seen about these lines? I feel like this was a big one for him.
Yeah, no, I could see that 100% there. No, I kid you not. This is one of those ones that I probably caught it when it came on TV first, but I want to say on one like the premiere channels like Stars or HBO. I'm guessing most likely Stars, maybe Showtime. And I remember just catching it one night and I stayed up the whole time and watched the whole thing. I was like, dude, this is so fantastic and so on like that. And ever since then, this has been one of those movies that I've always looked very fondly upon. And I'm happy to say that on another watch, because it has been a moment for me, it still holds up so damn well.
It still holds up. I think that the things I like about it have stayed the same. And the things I don't like about it, which there are a lot of things I don't like about this movie, those have stayed the same too. But we'll get to that in rewind review. But yeah, this is a quintessential cable TV remote drop dad movie on at like 10:30. You're not doing anything, flip through the channels, and boom, there it is. Yeah, I'll watch this for a little bit. And yeah, this is a movie that's kind of, I don't want to say it's a cult following, but definitely more popular than its box office would suggest. It's not a bad box office, but it's definitely had more legs later as time has went on than it did when it first released.
Well, it was pretty much a kind of a hidden gem movie in the 90s. It was that kind of movie that was sort of passed along. Kind of remind me the same way that like Postman was as well, of Kevin Costner, where like the draw didn't really come necessarily from the theater, but like as time went on, people passed around that VHS tape and so on. And I will say the 90s is a glorious time period for that man versus nature type of movie.
Yeah.
Especially just a lot of great, like, animal movies. Like you got The Edge with Anthony Hopkins where he fights the bear. You got Deep Blue Sea, which what's got that dude from Rennie, the dude who did Cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
Die Hard 2. He directed that one. That movie's fantastic. That movie does not get enough credit for how good that is. But, Anaconda. There was a lot of these like man versus nature great films.
Congo to an extent.
Yeah, Congo. Just no monkey with a laser gun. Still want that monkey with a laser gun.
Fair. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Michael Crichton probably wanted that,
Yeah. bastards. Um, yeah, this is. I mean, yeah, this. There's a lot of movies like this in the '90s, and what's great about this one is it, takes a lot from Jaws. It doesn't
Mhm.
try to overdo. Um, uses real effects when it can, but it doesn't try to overdo its effects. It doesn't try to go further than its capabilities, and it uses suspense over spectacle. And I think that's why it still holds up so well, is because it's not a, you know, there's some CGI in here. There's some like, but it's not distracting and it's not overdone. But this is a movie I think as time has gone on, people look at it even more favorably. And of course, great cast, Val Kilmer, and rest in peace,
Yep.
Michael Douglas, which
The
somehow he's still
Doug.
alive, the Doug,
Yeah.
and a lot of good, great supporting cast in there, Tom Wilkinson and stuff. But I have a lot to say about this one. I think you do too. So before we get into the review, let's go ahead and jump into the tail of the tape. Ghost in the Darkness, released October 11th, 1996. And this is the tale of tape where we go back and look at the movie when it was released. And we go back to the week the movie came out in theaters and look at some of the pop culture surrounding the movie, maybe some news events, but definitely the box office, and see what this movie is released up against and things like that. So, Ghost in the Darkness, directed by Stephen Hopkins, writer William Goldman. And of course, it's based off that book. Was it The Killers of Tsavo? I think it's the
Yeah,
name of the book.
exactly.
Or the lion?
Well,
Is it the
even
lions or the killers?
the man eaters of Tsavo.
Ah, there it is. Okay, I knew that wasn't right when I wrote it down. I was like, something's off.
Which I mean, that's the one thing that really makes this movie super cool is the fact that it is like a true story. You know.
Yeah, and it's embellished a little, but
Mhm.
most of the embellishment comes from the original writings, because they up that kill count from like they basically do what CNBC or Fox News or CNN does. They're like, that kill, oh, we're at like hundreds, and then it turns
Well,
out to be like five people.
well, the weird thing is they said that like it was like 120, and then somebody's like, oh no, it was actually just 30. But then that person was like, well, the only people we counted were people from India. We didn't count anybody from Africa that died. So it's like, what does that mean?
Well, I
It's
mean, that makes sense when you look at the structure of how that thing was
probably just
played
an
out.
Indian guy who was making the tallies. Be like, this is the only thing those Muslim guys I don't care about.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
fine. I
writing
mean,
them down every single time they get eaten.
hey, that's actually like based on how this movie plays out and what you hear from the people at the beginning of the movie, and the strain between the Africans and the Indians and all these things. That actually tracks, because they really hated each other and did not get along.
So I'm thinking that kill count is a little bit more in between, but still kind of leaning towards the higher mark because it's 1898. So let's be honest, there's probably a lot of people that got taken out, and you're just like, well, what happened to Bobby? I don't know. He got drug. But we
Yeah,
saw him yesterday. I don't see him today. Oh, okay. You know what I mean?
yeah. I will say I didn't get a chance to read as much on this as I wanted to, because I didn't find this fact until late. But what it seemed like when I was reading in the trivia is that they found the cave that these lions took people to. Real quick, before we get any further, if you've never seen Ghost of Darkness, it's about Val Kilmer, who's a Colonel Patterson or something, and he is an engineer, and he is building he builds bridges, and he's sent
Yeah.
down to, I mean, BFE Africa, not literally Egypt, but Kenya, Uganda, one of those. And hey,
Yeah.
you got to build this bridge across this river in Tsavo. Tsavo literally means slaughter, by the way. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll build this bridge. And Tom Wilkinson's like a huge dick to him, and he's like, I'll build it. And then he gets down there and lions start fucking everybody up. And that's what the movie's about. Like, we got to kill these lions. And
Yeah, because lions don't like bridges.
lions they fucking hate bridges. It's historically known.
So, in
Um,
California, when they want to make these stupid fucking bridges so the lions can cross the road, keep in mind that lions don't like bridges. So they're going to
they
start murdering people left and right.
they historically hate bridges. And so yeah, they were trying to build a bridge. The lion said, fuck that. And they just started killing people. Where I was leading with this, I need to add some context. A fact that I was reading is that it seemed like in the 90s, maybe even after this movie's release, they found the cave where these lions were taking people. and they found out there was a lot of people in there. Like there was a lot of bones and stuff, maybe more people than they thought. So these lions killed somewhere between 35 and 135 people, somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not
it's
bad.
safe to say. Yeah.
I'm going with like 75, 80.
That's still that's a lot of people.
That is. These were hungry lions and they hated bridges, so I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't build a bridge in lion country. Just don't do
yeah.
it.
And then
Yeah.
apparently you can go see these lions in America. Apparently they exist at the Chicago Museum of some kind.
Yeah. The killer.
Just it's a very American thing. Just to be like, you know what? Let's take that and bring it back to America. Ain't nobody traveling to Kenya to go see some lions. They'll go to Chicago though.
These lions are from Africa. They killed a bunch of Muslims and Hindus, and we should put them in Chicago, which is what they did. So you can see them at the Chicago Museum.
I mean, hell, we moved the London Bridge to Arizona or whatever.
Yeah, damn. Lions hate bridges. That's what you really need to know.
Yeah.
All bridges, train bridges, road bridges, Nash bridges
made for them. Yeah.
Yeah. All bridges. So yeah, director Stephen Hopkins, of course, writer William Goldman, based off the book. So we mentioned cast Michael Douglas. I have to list him first, even though I shouldn't. Val Kilmer.
Even though he doesn't come in the movie till 45 minutes into it.
Oh, but he come. We'll talk about that. Oh, I got thoughts. Val Kilmer, Tom Wilkinson, John Connie, and Bernard Hall. That's your cast. Pretty good cast. A lot of good supporting characters in this. You're like, oh, I knew that guy from a thing, but I can't remember what thing I know him from. But I know him. A lot of that in this movie. The box office for this movie did pretty well. It says it grossed 75 million, which Box Office Mojo says something completely different. So I'm trying to figure out where the discrepancy in that number is, because I looked at the worldwide. It still said 38 million. So I guess I need Box Office Mojo Pro.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'll just go off the Wikipedia one that says 75 million.
That's what I'm going to do too. It says its budget was 55 million, made 75 million. So with marketing, this is kind of broke even.
Yeah. And once again, that doesn't include, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, TV sales, all that stuff that's going to fall later on.
Which I don't know this for sure, but I feel like this did pretty well on VHS rental. This is one of those. This is a quintessential. I'm gonna wait that for come out on tape movies.
Well, and I think that's what it was. I think that's where the real bread and butter was of this movie. It was a word of mouth film. I think is really what it broke down into. And so the downfall to a word of mouth movie is there's not enough time in cinemas to really have that work out for you. So you got to wait till VHS kind of rolls around and rentals and off TV and so on.
I definitely remember this movie being on TV and being in the video store and being interested in it. And I do not remember it coming out. So that's the thing. Now it did start number one at the box office on October 11th, 1996. Didn't have a lot of insane competition, but decent movies that are all along the same level, I think.
Yeah, because there's another really good, but like not really popular movie that comes out right behind it, but it stands out really good as one of the top Shane Black movies.
Shane Black. We're pro Shane Black here.
Yeah.
Box office. Ghost of the Darkness number one on October 11th, 1996. The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yep, that's the one right there. Shane Black, Samuel Jackson, Gina Davis. Great action flick.
Gina Davis, yeah. Pro her as well. First Wives Club, never seen it.
Huge movie back in the day, though. That was like the movie that like everybody's mom went and saw.
I can't read my writing here. What's number 4?
The Chamber?
The Cucumber? Oh, The Chamber. I knew it was something. I knew it wasn't Cucumber, but that's what it looks like in my writing because I had to use a Sharpie because I'm ghetto sometimes. What do you want me to? I'm just, another great movie at number 5, though. Really love this movie. That Thing You Do, directed by Tom Hanks.
Yep.
I think it's the only movie he directed.
It might be. And it stars his son as well. Colin Hanks, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
I think he's in there. I think he's one of the band members. I thought that movie was, if you would ask me what year that movie came out, I would say like 2001 or 2. It did not feel like 1996 to me.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit more around that Catch Me If You Can time period.
Yeah. Is Liv Tyler in that? I think Liv Tyler's in that.
Maybe she is. I'll have to look that one up. It's been that movie I used to watch all the time just because I love that era. I love the Beatles, Rolling Stones, and all that kind of stuff that movie kind of represented. But God, it's been a good while since I've seen it. Oh yeah, Liv Tyler isn't it? I just gotta say that she's like the main female in the movie.
That's what right. I was thinking. So it's been years. I probably haven't seen that movie since the 90s.
Dude, Charlize Theron's in that one too. I kind of did not remember that.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull that one out soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back and looking at that one because that was a fun movie. But yeah, there's your box office, October 11th, 1996. Ghost of Darkness, #1 at the box office, finishes 39th at the 1996 box office. So decent time. I looked up, didn't get a chance to really look up a whole lot of music. I know the Macarena is hot right now in October of 1996.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny is, so the two of the news stories I saw, I saw Macarena's #1 in music. I don't know if it's exactly #1, but it's the main, like, getting all the airplay. And Bill Clinton's running for re-election.
Yep.
And it's getting close to the primaries. Not the primaries, the Democratic National Convention. And what's funny about that is it something popped in my head is there's that famous video of them playing the Macarena at the Democratic National Convention, and Hillary's like this and doing a thing, and like there's all these people at the Democratic National Convention doing the Macarena, and I was like, yeah, that definitely fits. So that's what's going on. Ghost of Darkness is in theaters. We're having the Democratic National Convention, and they're all doing the Macarena there because that's how you beat Bob Dole.
Yeah, you got to have that group dance activity going on.
Yeah, they could do whatever. Bob Dole had no chance.
Yeah,
I don't think really.
Unless Bob Dole came out there and just started breakdancing or something like that. That might have.
Yeah, well, Bob Dole, was taking them PP pills. Remember, he did. I think he did like a commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Dole. His wife was from here.
Oh, really?
She was. What was she here? She won office. She did something. I think she took over for Jesse Helms. I can't remember. But his wife was here. That was probably the most boring election of my life.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole. I mean, oh no, I take that back. John Kerry versus Bush in the second Bush election. W. Bush. John Kerry looked like a scrotum. And yeah.
He looked like a stand-in for Frankenstein's monster.
He did, man. He had that guy had, you were talking about somebody had no chance. And Bush was really, all that post 9/11 like enthusiasm had kind of weaned. I don't want to say enthusiasm. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
There was, yeah.
You know what I mean. The patriotism.
The patriotism was, very enthusiastic at that time period.
Strategize. So yeah, that's my little. But the Macarena is what won Slick Willie a second term. If it wasn't for the Macarena, we don't know who Monica Lewinsky is. That happened his first term. I can't remember if that was his first term or second term. Like when it actually happened, not when the news broke. That was second term.
Yeah, second term was.
I think it was the first term when he was actually doing the deed.
Yeah, it probably was both terms. Let's be honest.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh man! All right. Well, there's your tale of the tape. We have what you need to know is Ghost of Darkness did okay at the box office. Okay, it's a lot more popular now. The Macarena is hot. Democrats are going to win, and Lions hate fucking bridges. So that's what you need to know. Yeah,
Lions.
Yeah. So there's your tale of the tape for Ghost of Darkness. We got a lot to say about this one, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the rewind review. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, so we're back for our rewind review. We're looking at Ghost in the Darkness. That's this week's featured rental, October 11th, 1996. And as we said before, quintessential dad movie, quintessential remote drop movie. This was made for cable TV. And, this is just, a historical, I don't want to say fiction because it's based off a true story, which the true story is pretty harrowing in itself. Is it embellished a little bit? Is there, creative license in here? Sure.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it gives the lions manes. Apparently, they didn't really have manes. They were one of those like
exactly.
maneless ones. One of those dirty maneless lions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. That I saw the picture of them at the Chicago Museum, and they actually, which I'm confused about because it says that they're there, but it also says that what's his name, Patterson, kept the skulls in their heads. So I'm like, how are they at Chicago if this guy
I
had?
think those ones that there's a picture of are like replicas because
Yeah,
Patterson turned them into like throw rugs and he had them in his house for like 25 years and then he sold them off
dang,
to a museum and then the skulls were sort of separate and yeah. So,
mm,
but I think they have like the throw rugs hanging up there in the
dang,
museum, you know.
yeah, that's wild. I mean, they're very odd looking lions. Um, and something about them, even though they don't have the mane, and even though they look a little more slender, they look just a little bit. They look like lion pit bulls.
Yeah, that's exactly almost what they kind of look like, you
Yeah,
know.
it's creepy looking. And these lions, they fucked a lot of people. I mean, they fucked a lot of people up. They straight up ate people, took them back to their little cave and made like little had like a little collection of human bones and stuff. And essentially they have theorized that one of them had like a dental issue and couldn't like eat zebras and shit. And like, what we can eat is that fat dude over there.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's
I
what they
could
kind of
catch him.
that's what they sort of said is that the fact that if a lion starts, becoming a man eater, it's most likely due to a couple things. Either they have some kind of issue going on, or if they're weaker lions, they're not
Yeah.
powerful enough to take down a zebra, or a water buffalo or something like that, then they'll start killing humans instead. So
Right.
ironically, when when we get the lions that kill us, those are like the lesser lions that nobody wants.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't even
They're
have
the
manes.
weak genes.
They're kind of bitches, but they still fucked us up. So I guess I shouldn't be talking shit.
Yeah.
Just
Still
as
king
any
of the
Tsavo
jungle.
lions. Yeah. I think like that type of lion still exists. I mean, it's not like an extinct thing, which is really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's probably that thing that like in America we only get to really see the Lion King looking lion, but like when you're over in Africa, there's probably all sorts of different types of lions.
Yeah.
Just like there's so many different types of mountain lions and pumas and jaguars and all that kind of stuff.
Luke is a lion. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I think I told you about that guy who got in
You did, yeah. The
trouble.
guy was
Yeah.
translating.
Yeah. What does it mean? It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my god. It doesn't mean that in Lion King. They do say Simba in this movie, which is apparently like a real like lion word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's not Jonathan Taylor Thomas Simba.
No. Just can't wait to be king. Dun, 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 and a bunch of people get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. As Christian Slater is like, he's like, I was living like as a vegan with Timon and Pumbaa, but now I've come back and I realize I have to start killing again.
I heard a funny joke about Lion King a couple years ago. And it was this guy who was making like a TikTok and he's talking about Simba. And he rolls up on Timon and Pumbaa. He's like, "Oh man, your dad died and like your uncle killed him and like you've been abandoned. Have you tried not giving a fuck?" Hakuna Matata.
Well, that's the thing. Timon and Pumbaa are literally like they're like two guys that practically rolled up in like a VW bus, and offered him a joint and said, "Hey man, come take a ride."
Yeah, they basically are like, just come live with us. We got it all figured out over here. Eat bugs. Eat bugs.
They're easy,
Yeah. You know what else is easy? Bunch of train bridge construction workers. They're easy prey.
Exactly. Probably if they
And
weren't, wearing so much like, robes and so on like that, they could run away faster from these
they
lions.
look. Let's be. They're not built for speed. These costumes are not built for speed. Okay, so again, quick catch up on what's going on with this movie. Val Kilmer plays Colonel, I won't call him James Patterson, but I feel like I'm thinking of the author.
Yeah, that's the author. No. It's John Patterson.
John Patterson. Okay. Uh, I wish it was James Patterson. Colonel John Patterson. And this character is tasked with building a bridge across. He's an engineer. And they're like this guy, Tom Wilkinson, who is a massive dickhole at the beginning of this movie. And
Throughout the
I
whole
was,
movie.
I think the biggest flaw in this movie, I don't care if it didn't happen historically, is that this guy didn't get eaten.
Yeah, he should have got eaten like there at the very end.
Yeah, I needed it. I needed it to happen because the one
Because
character you want to get eaten is the one that doesn't.
yeah, literally. Yeah, why is this guy such a big ass? There's not really a ton of reason. Maybe there is historically, but
Well, he says he's wanting to get knighted. He wants to become Sir Dickhole. and and basically that's what's going on with his character. But Tom Wilkinson hires Val Kilmer because he's apparently a very capable engineer and he's really good at building bridges, and he built some in India. And Tom Wilkinson said, "Listen, I want you to build this bridge, but I fucking hate you. I despise you, and you're a dick. And I don't care about your family. I don't care about anything else." And Val Kilmer is newly married, Patterson, John Patterson, Colonel, and they're expecting a child in a few months. So he's got to hurry down to Tsavo, build this bridge across this river, and get back in a few months before his kid's born. And he's like, "Yeah, I got this.
yeah, I'll make it home before Christmas.
Yeah, I'll make it home before Christmas." You won't, though, because lions. You didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that they didn't put that in the pamphlet when you went to Africa.
He did,
And he loves Africa. Let's get this across. John Patterson.
Yes.
It's like his childhood dream is to go to Africa and
Yeah.
I don't know, just hang out and ride a fucking elephant and whatnot. And
Yeah.
you know,
Bag a couple Kenyan baddies, I guess, and
Yeah.
whatever he's doing in his spare time. But yeah, he gets there. He rides on this train on the very front of this train, which sounds cool, but then there's also probably bugs and wind and stuff getting in his teeth, and it seems uncomfortable. But he's like traveling. He's basically doing a train safari and getting to see giraffe and all these things. And he's really, really excited. He's told his wife goodbye, like, "Hey, I'll be back in a few months. Just got to build this bridge for these dumbasses down there, and I'll be back."
And
And he
she's
gets,
really positive about this. We gotta say this
yeah,
real quick. She's
yeah,
like, "Yeah, dude, you've always wanted to go to Africa. You got to go. Going to Africa is more important than your son being born. Let's be honest.
yeah,
You can always have multiple sons. It's the 1800s,
yeah,
but you can't always have an African, experience."
yeah. You need to go down to Africa. She goes, "You got to go where the rivers are."
Yeah,
Thought that was a good line.
yeah,
And he's already built some in India, so like, "Hey, I've dealt with tigers. What can be different?" And in theory, tigers are even worse, but he didn't deal with man-eating tigers, I guess.
yeah.
Um, so he gets down to Africa, and right away he finds out that the crew that's going to build this bridge, he's working on the railroad tracks. There's a bunch of Muslims and Hindus and Indians and Africans, and they don't get along at all.
No,
And
of
like
course
these
not.
people eat cows, and these people worship cows, and it's a mess.
Yeah. They really did not think that one through. You're like, you know what? Maybe
No,
we should split these guys up and put them on different projects.
I feel like that's just a microcosm of the Middle East.
Yeah, I think that's kind of that. Well, I also feel like there's that British thing where you're like, we're gonna make it work. They're gonna like
Hmm.
each other, like,
Yeah,
and we're the greatest country. It's 1800s. Like, what are they gonna do?
yeah. Have
We're
you tried
bringing them a
having tea at
bridge.
4? Yeah, try tea time.
Yeah,
It changes everything. Um, and so yeah, Val Kilmer's got to deal with these warring factions. Not everybody not getting along, but he's very capable. He's very sure of himself. He's happy to be in Africa, and he is not phased at all by this. He's very courageous, bold, confident person. And Val Kilmer does a great job in this movie because as shit gets tough, because it gets very, very tough, and it starts wearing on him, you could see it play out in his character throughout the movie, the way he acts. Val Kilmer does great in this movie.
oh yeah,
And And I think it should be said right here that this is supposed to be a Val Kilmer movie. Like, he's the main character, he's the main focus. And I guess you could say he is throughout, but it kind of gets hijacked a little bit. But this is mainly a Val Kilmer vehicle,
Yeah.
the way I see it.
No, I feel like that too. I mean, Michael Douglas for some reason gets like literally the first credit, the starring role. Even on the cover here, look at he's like his face is before Val Kilmer's.
Yeah.
It's kind of misleading, and I don't know why they would have thought this because it's like this is kind of Val Kilmer at like his heyday. Like in a sense, he's one of the biggest actors that you could have possibly got. Not saying that Michael Douglas isn't big, but it almost feels like at this moment, like Val Kilmer would have been the more hierarchy than that. He just played Batman. I mean, maybe he was in the Island of Dr. Moreau, so maybe that kind of threw a little bit of wrench in there.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, Michael Douglas have been in some shit too.
Yeah.
I don't think the studio thought that Michael Douglas was top billing. I don't think the director or any of the writers thought Michael Douglas was top billing. I think Michael Douglas thought Michael Douglas was top billing. And he was one of the producers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was just checking. Like, yep, he's executive producer number one. So that's probably what happened there.
That's 1,000%. He hijacked this movie 100%, and you could tell he did. And what stinks about it is, now listen, I'm pro Michael. I like Michael Douglas a lot.
Yeah, I love the Doug.
I love the Doug, but he comes in this movie, and we've already been introduced to Val Kilmer's character, Colonel Patterson. We empathize with this character. We empathize with his, journey because he's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got to build this bridge in Africa. Lions are fucking people up. His wife's about to have a kid. Nobody's getting along. And this is a lot for him. And he's under a lot of pressure. And plus Tom Wilkinson, whose character, I can't even name his character, basically his boss, is a massive dickhole. And so there's a lot going on with him. And then Michael Douglas just shows up 45 minutes in, and it's like his movie. And he acts like it's his movie. That's what pisses me off about it, is that he's like chewing the scenery, and he's acting like it turns into like a Michael Doug. I think his character's name is Remington. Of course. Yeah. Of course it is. And he acts like it's like Remington Kills Lions is the name of the movie. It's, it pisses me off, quite honestly.
Well, because even in the whole beginning too, Val Kilmer is also the main hunter guy for taking out these lions as well too. It's not like any of these other guys. Somehow, some way, nobody out there has been like trained to hunt anything, except for Val Kilmer. And so he's out there like literally sitting in the trees, waiting for the lions and so on like that, setting up traps and everything like that. He's got that one cage that's like kind of like a rail car where it's supposed to be when the lion steps in and drops the cage behind him and locks him in there. And of course, the guys that are in there supposed to shoot the lion can't shoot more than 2 feet in front of them.
These are worse than stormtroopers. The shooting in this movie, it's like, and I think that we'll talk more about the shooting because I think there's a reason for it, but it's just not. It doesn't explain it very well. But yeah, like Patterson is shooting the trap. I'm like setting up the traps. He's the one hunting the lions. And it should be mentioned that in real life, Patterson is the one who killed the lions, which does happen in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he's definitely the real main character of the historical story.
He's like this, whatever this Michael Douglas character was supposed to be like a side character. Maybe they brought somebody in like to help him hunt the lions, but Patterson's the guy. Like, this is all on him. He's going to get this bridge built, or this Tom Wilkinson character is going to, ruin his reputation. He literally says, I am going to destroy you. Like, if you don't get this bridge built on time. I'm really sorry that the lions have ate like 40 people. He doesn't seem sorry though.
No.
But you're going to have to get this shit done, or I'm going to ruin you, and you'll wish you were eaten by a lion, essentially.
Yeah. I almost think that guy must have released the lions into the facility. He just wants to stir shit up.
Yeah, I think so too. Trying to make it seem more heroic what he's done. Like he built a bridge, because he's definitely going to take credit for this. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Michael Douglas come in, he's chewing the scenery. He's big. He's definitely the louder character. And it just doesn't feel like tonally he's playing in the same movie. He feels like he's playing in like an Anaconda type movie. Like a very kind of popcorn flick type monster movie.
Yeah.
And he was like Woody Harrelson in like Zombieland.
Yeah.
Like he's just like a caricature of something. Like Crocodile Dundee meets whatever, and it just doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do see because it is, yeah, you go from very like historically accurate kind of feeling movie, and then all of a sudden he kind of comes in as this Wild Bill kind of character who's just here like, let's go hunt some lions, drink some
Yeah,
beer and shoot some things.
yeah, and it doesn't explain his character very well, which you don't need to know all the backstory, but like Tom Wilkinson's character mentions Remington. It's like, I'm gonna bring this guy in to shoot people, and then one of the other people were like, yeah, he'll be good to help out. And then you don't hear anything for a few minutes, and the next thing you know, he just shows up in the middle of this, like worker revolt where they're about to kill Val Kilmer, saves the day, chews the scenery, takes over the movie for the next like 10-15 minutes, and it really undermines Val Kilmer's character, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it makes it feel like he can't handle this. It's like you had to have Michael Douglas come in and take care of this when it really seemed like if you would have give Val Kilmer's character more time, Jonathan, he would have literally solved this on his own without even, the Michael Douglas character. There's a little bit of trial and error. I know that the workers there, the day laborers, are definitely like not digging this trial and error thing going on here because they are the error and the trial.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to stay motivated. Like I complain about things at work because it does suck, but then also I didn't have a lion maul my coworker's face off.
Yeah, and just wondering every single day you go in, is it going to be me this time?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and literally they wake up in the morning, and what's even worse is they can't even sleep because these lions are fucking them up when they're just taking a nap, and they sneak in there and like take them out to the. And one of the things that this movie I thought was kind of weird early on is that it starts setting you up these other characters. Like Val Kilmer's got this guy, he's kind of like a foreman. I feel like he's got two for like you got the Indian guy who's in charge of the Indian crew, and then you got this African guy who's in charge of the African crew, and then this one other African guy who's kind of like the liaison between everybody.
Yeah.
And the African foreman, we'll just call it that because I don't know exactly what his role was. He gets eaten early.
Well, there's the Muslim guy too. That's got like the big nose and everything and whatnot. There's that guy who's always kind of pissed at Val Kilmer for the longest time, and then eventually, like, by the movie's end, he's accepts him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that guy, and then the other one, the guy who's like opposite him, gets eaten very early on. Yeah. And then you're introduced to this Bible salesman character who's basically there as like a missionary to convert people, and you kind of like this character, and you think he's going to be around the whole movie. He gets like fucked up like early on in the movie, gets his throat slashed to pieces.
He gets taken out real quick.
Yeah. Both those deaths, though, really good effects.
Oh, super good. Like the death scenes in it are really excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, it's the first of the movie before Michael Douglas gets in there. It's really kind of like feels like a historical epic in a way, but also like a horror movie, like a Kevin Costner movie mixed with like Jaws.
Yeah, that's a good description right there.
Yeah, it feels like a Kevin Costner kind of sweeping historical thing, and then you got this Jaws element, and it does take a lot from Jaws because when the lions are attacking, a lot of times you see it from their point of view and them sneaking through the grass. It doesn't show them completely, It's the basically the savannah, the tall grasses, or the equivalent of the water in Jaws, and they kind of cover everything. So they did build a robot lion, but they're not using the effects too much because they suck.
Yeah, you're using more, definitely. You're pushing it through the grass and everything like that. Though I will say the effects in this movie, though, are still pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, because they're not overdone. They knew their limitations, I think.
Yeah, because there's other movies around the same time period that would have been like, oh, we got CG now. Like, we can do anything. No. That's the most dangerous part is when you think you can do anything.
Yeah, especially at this time, like 96. Oh, man. If you don't have that Jurassic Park money, you really can't do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Which, funny enough, Jurassic Park might be the movie that sort of starts off this kind of like man versus nature type of run for a good 6 or 7 years.
yeah, I mean it was kind of going on before Jurassic Park, but definitely Jurassic Park ramped it up a
Yeah, well, I'm
lot.
just talking about that because sometimes it's like I know there's ones in the '80s, of course, as well too, but like sometimes there's always like a little bit of a dip for a while, and then there's kind of like a resurgence, and then you start getting a handful of movies right in a row.
Yeah, I mean it kind of brought back some shark movies. It brought back Animals Attack, Anaconda, that kind of thing. And this one, is I don't can't think of any other like lion movies like this.
No, there's that line movie from the '80s. I know that where like the one girl actually gets really mauled by a real lion in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever
Roar.
that's
Is it
called.
called Roar? I think.
Yeah, Roar. That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was like Tiger King gone wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a
That's what that was.
whole
Not the
family living with
Tiger.
a bunch of lions.
Yeah, not the Tiger King went well either at the end of the day. But yeah, it was that's kind of what it was. But yeah, there's not a lot of like lion movies, and it plays out like a shark movie in a lot of ways. And it's kind of like Jaws in the sense that you have some of these characters, there's like a camaraderie. It ends up being like three or four guys against these lions, and really down to three guys, really.
Yeah.
And that's what another thing that's kind of similar to Jaws. But um, yeah, Michael Douglas does kind of hijack this movie a little bit, and that's probably the biggest flaw, I think. Um, but yeah, basically the most of the movie is now these workers have quit. They're not going to build the bridge anymore, and the Lions are happy about that because as we've said before, Lions hate bridges.
Yeah. So they stop the bridge making. The lions will go back to their normal habitat.
Yeah. But they're like, no, we're gonna have to fuck these lions up. So now it's these guys hunting the lion. Michael Douglas at one point has like a crew of like straight up African guys.
Yeah, he's got this whole army that he's put together. You know.
Yeah, like with the shields and the spears and like
Yeah, they're
tribes.
literally they're going out old school like fighting like like 300 style.
Yeah, basically, and they even they give up early on. They're like, no, these lions are evil. They're satanic, which is I'm glad I said that because that's what I was going to get into. Is I feel like this movie kind of was dipping its toes into there was like this kind of supernatural, kind of like malevolent, spiritual element to these
Hmm.
lions, and they tease that and they talk about that, but they never go in depth on it, which I think is makes certain things kind of seem weird because there's that whole scene like where they try to shoot the lions in the cage. They trap those lions in the cage, and like it's these guys. You have three guys who were murderers, who were sharpshooters, and those lions are like right in front of them, like they're like feet away, and they can't hit the lion.
Yeah, like a blind person should be able to shoot these lions.
Yeah. And it's either they're that bad at shooting or there's like a force field or there's some type of like divine protection around the lions. And either way, it comes across stupid. That's other than the Michael Douglas thing, that's the one thing about this movie that didn't work is that they had to contrive all these ways to not kill the lions early, even though it seems like you and I could have been in that situation and definitely killed those lions. Like
Yeah, I
right
feel
there.
like anybody could have, even if you've never handled a gun, should have been able to figure that one out.
Yeah. It was weird because Patterson has his train car. He devised a trap with a tripwire. He got human bait in there. The lion walks in, hits his tripwire. One door shuts, and then there's a cage, and then the shooters are in the cage, and this trap actually works. The lion comes in, trips the wires, but these guys somehow cannot shoot through the holes in the gate to get the lion. And it is kind of like the scene lasts too long for me to you know justify it because I'm like, okay, if it's going to be this stupid, it's going to be short.
Yeah,
But no,
like have the lion break out real quickly or something like that.
yeah, like oh, they shot and they missed and the lion went away. But no, the scene goes on forever and he's like tearing down the cage and he's got his like big old paws on the cage pushing it, and these guys are like directly in front of it with guns. They're like, "Oh no, we missed that,"
Yeah.
And
So sometimes there's that weird thing in movies whenever they show kind of like those worker type guys, miscellaneous, no name type people, they make them almost like they're morons and they can't do anything right. Like, you know what I mean? Like how they got this far in life, nobody knows. They've been like literally falling ass backwards into everything.
well, they also do this thing with like other cultures where everything they think is spiritual.
Yeah.
Like there's no people in there that were like rash things about these lions. Everybody's like, "Oh, there's spooky lions or ghosts and there's darkness and there's everything's mystical." And I don't think they would have all felt like that. They was just like, these guys, these lions, I don't know what's going on, but they're fucked up and they're eating all these people. So like we got to do something about it. Um, so yeah, like he's got like a whole army of people there, and none of them can help kill this lion, and that's kind of
No.
ridiculous.
Well, it does have that kind of like message. I don't know what's message, but it just has that factor in there that, none of these Africans, Muslims, Indians, any of these guys can do a single thing against these lions. It's going to take two white guys to show up and save the day.
Well, the movie does kind of poke fun at that because there's that one line where Val Kilmer says he's going to do something. I can't remember what he's going to do. And he's like, "Oh, well, you're white. You can do anything." And I was like, well, that's kind of funny because it's basically what the movie is saying.
He should stop for something like, well, here's the thing. I may be white, but I'm Irish. So I'm kind of a lesser class.
Oh my gosh.
Because he literally has that line in that movie where he's like, where it's like, if God wanted the Irish to rule the world, he would have invented whiskey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's true. Yeah. He's like, "I'm potato white, so you don't have to worry about me." Yeah. So that's basically Michael Douglas comes in and saves the day and just starts going through the camp. And some of it makes sense because like there's this whole scene. Like I was thinking, there's this nasty hospital in this village,
Yeah.
and for some reason, like everybody's sick, like all the time.
Yeah.
And there's just laying around in there, and there's like blood, and there's like sickness and stuff. I'm like, well, that's definitely attracting the lions. Like that seems like a problem.
It's either that there's a lot of guys pretending to be sick just to be like, you know what? If I go in this hospital bed, I can just kind of lay down. I don't have to worry about being out there exposed to the lions. Of course, lo and behold, that comes to bite all those guys in the back later on because
literally
Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer get this great idea. They're like, we're going to lead the lions to this one tent. We're going to spread blood everywhere, put a bunch of, guts and everything like that. And so instead, the lions go across town and find that medical base that they switched everything to and just start pulling people out. They're like, oh, this is even easier. Well, what we been doing taking the guys off like the train work. We should just be grabbing them straight out of the hospital.
Yeah, these guys can't even run. Yeah, so basically Michael Douglas comes into camp. He's like, "Hey, this hospital's attracting the lions. We're gonna move the hospital literally now." And then the doctor, who I'll talk about him in a second, is like, "That's a dumb idea." And Michael Douglas said, "That's a great fucking idea. We're gonna do it." And they do it. And I thought it was a good idea too. And then no, they just put the blood everywhere, and the lion's like, "Yeah, okay, they're not in there now, so they definitely moved them." Like the lions have already been snooping this shit out like for months now. So
yeah, the lions know a setup when they see one.
yeah, so they draw them in with the blood, and like, well, since we're here, let's just go ahead and fuck up that hospital. But yeah, the doctor character is one of the elements of this movie where, so they cut 45 minutes out of this movie, but somehow gave Michael Douglas a bigger role.
Yeah, somehow, somewhat. Well, maybe that's the thing is if you actually had an extra 45 minutes, because this movie actually is kind of short for what it is. It rolls fine, but it has that feeling like it's going to be like an epic Kevin Costner like length movie, and I think it rolls in at under 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
It does, like shortly, like an hour and 50.
Yeah, it's 109 minutes, so yeah, it's a little bit short there. I mean, it doesn't feel like it. I think the pacing's totally fine, but I can see if you had an extra 45 minutes. That probably would actually ease the Michael Douglas character out a bit. He would come in there and he'd have his moment, but it wouldn't feel literally like he's hijacking half the movie.
Well, also, one thing this movie does is it fixes it at the end because there's closure for all the storylines, but there's a lot of storylines that are set up that are just neglected for like a long period of time. The workers leaving,
Yeah.
and then once the lions are dead, they just show back up, and it's like I would have liked to seen how that plays out. Um, at the beginning of the movie, they set up the fact that Val Kilmer's wife's going to have this baby, and other than some flashback like dream sequences he has, that's forgotten for a big part of the movie. As a matter of fact, when the movie really the shit hits the fan, he's reading a letter from his wife, and then you don't think about that for a good chunk of the movie. I feel like the doctor was a bigger character
Yeah.
originally because it feels like he was supposed to be, and when he dies in the movie, it feels like this is supposed to be a bigger deal.
Yeah. Instead, he's just a doctor. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I mean it sucks, but it definitely feels like there's supposed to be more to that character and more to a lot of this movie, but they cut it out so Michael Douglas can ham it up and pretend he's in Romancing the Stone or whatever the fuck he's doing. And he looks rough in this movie too.
Yeah, he is looking like that. I mean, I think half of it's the character, but you never know otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just kind of like this larger than life, kind of like mythical character, but then also annoying and ultimately gets fucked up, which the movie does fix it because he gets eaten.
Yeah, he does. He makes the sacrifice to, make sure that Val Kilmer gets his recognition.
Yeah. Um, so I don't know. I feel like this movie would have been this movie's a good movie. I think it could have been very good to great if Michael Douglas had not fucked up. I'm dead serious. Like it's a big it's not as big of a problem as some of the elements in like Quick and the Dead, where that could have been an amazing movie and I hate it. This one I actually like the movie still, even as is. I think this is a good movie. But damn, it could have been better.
Yeah, well, it's one of those weird ones. I actually never thought about the Michael Douglas thing that in depth until you kind of brought it up, but it does make a lot of sense. And it does make me kind of wonder, like, almost if, like, it sounds weird. I love the Doug, but what if that character was almost like a little bit lesser of an actor? And so it would keep Val Kilmer as being the main, dog the whole time. And then you had somebody else that came in and pretty much did the same thing in a sense, helped out, or it's like almost if you had like a real old guy come in, like almost like like a ye olden days, 50s, 60s actor that came in to play that role. So it was kind of a cool cameo, but it wasn't anybody who was going to take like the thunder from like Val Kilmer.
Yeah, because the movie even acknowledges that Val Kilmer's kind of doing pretty well. Like even the trap that didn't work out was a good idea. It's just for some reason didn't work.
Yeah, because he put the wrong 3 guys in there.
Yeah, he put some stormtroopers in there to shoot. Yeah, so the movie even acknowledged that like he's really kind of on the right track. And there's a scene in the middle of the movie too, which also leads to this idea that these lions are kind of mystical and like there's something going on. Is that Michael Douglas, the first like hunting expedition, he has his little African tribe with him, and like he's leading these guys. He feels like an Indiana Jones villain, and so he takes Val Kilmer out there because you have to have Val Kilmer go with them because he's the main character of the movie. But it feels illogical why he'd be there because it's like they're going to build the bridge. We're going to go out and kill the lion, but we got to bring the main engineer from the bridge to whatever, because he was actually there. So yeah, but there's this one shot in the movie where Val Kilmer, Colonel Patterson, has a chance to kill the lion. He's like face to face with it.
Yeah.
And he goes to shoot it, and the gun doesn't go off. I'm like, how many more things can you contrive to not shoot this lion right now? It's just getting ridiculous.
They try to put a little too much suspense into like these guns not working properly against the lions.
Yeah, and you have this epic stare down, and he's not going to die because somebody's going to sneak in at the last second and shoot the lion or scare the lion off, and that's what happens. But it does feel like they're teasing like this divine protection over these lions or something. Fucking up the white man or something. I don't know what they're trying to get at, but there was something there.
Well, I think there is even a line in there at some point where one of the guys mentions that like the lions are here because of you guys being here.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like
because they don't like bridges. That's why.
Yeah, you fucked up. They don't like bridges at all.
There is a scene way down the line where when some of these stories kind of get wrapped up, I was literally laughing so hard, and I did kind of remember it from the previous time. But there's a part where, like, I think it's like they think I can't remember if I think they thought they killed one of the lions, or maybe they only killed one of them here, and they're like kind of like hanging out, drinking or whatnot, hanging out. It's just the three main characters, the Jaws crew. And
Yeah.
Val Kilmer, when he goes to bed, he has like a dream or whatever, but you don't know it's a dream yet.
Yeah.
And he sees it like his wife and like the boy have been like, they came in and for some reason they're wearing all white. And all that picture is like, how do you have a baby wearing all white and being on like a fucking 36-hour train ride? But whatever. That's a lot of white to be having for that.
Yeah.
So she gets out of the train and whatnot, and Val's going there. He's like, "Oh, there's my wife and kid," and they're like waving and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, of course, in the distance, you see the tall grass shuffling and so on, like that little tail poking up. And he's like, "No, no!" She's like, "Oh, Jonathan, Jonathan!"
He's like, "Stop! Literally, stop walking."
And then this lion comes running, blah, 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 blah. She still doesn't notice, nor does any of the other people in this too, which makes it feel like a total dream where it's like simplified to like what you're thinking. And then of course this lion jumps out eventually and she's waving like an idiot and she gets tackled by this giant puppet lion thing. And
you think
that's so funny.
Wake up right there. But no, they like go on and like the
lion she just gets mauled and someone like that. Like,
yeah, it's eating the baby. Yeah, it is really. I laugh at that too because it is kind of.
It's just so extreme.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the death of like the wife and kid in the first Mad Max movie.
Oh yeah.
But this was even more gruesome. But she's like, the funny part is, Val Kilmer's like, "Stop! Literally stop! Go the other way." Like everything about what he's doing is saying, "Go the other direction." She's like, "I got a baby here." She's just like walking and
she's like pushing out all like the like the Muslim guys out of the way, like,
yeah,
watch out, Irish coming through.
Yeah, I've got a white baby. I've got to ship my white husband. And boom, of course the lion just.
If you didn't know we're white, we're wearing all white.
Yeah, that lion is apparently Indomitian Sue from back in the day, and destroys the baby. And so it's just a dream, which I kind of knew it was going to be, even the first time I saw it. But like, oh my gosh,
it's so extreme that I would be really. I would give him actually a lot of credit if it wasn't a dream, and you're like, "Oh, that's got to be a dream," and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, she just visits him at work, and he gets mauled. Now he's pissed. He's like, "Well, still got to finish the bridge."
Yeah, the first thing I would do, if that was real and the movie kind of ran with that, I'd be like, wait a second, did that happen in real life? Because sometimes movies just make shit up like that and like, for no real reason.
Yeah.
Like, no, the wife lived to a ripe age of 96 and the kid, went on to become, his own bridge maker.
Yeah. No, and that the kid has vengeance against lions. He's out to make lions go extinct or something. I don't know. What needed to happen in this movie was Tom Wilkinson says at one point, I can't remember what his character's name is, but he is such a dick in this movie.
Yeah.
Like Oscar Isaac.
Sir Robert Beaumont.
Sir Robert Beaumont is the dickiest dickhole that ever dicked. And what I needed to happen is at one point in the movie, when he goes down there to chew Val Kilmer out, he's like, "Listen, I'm going to ruin, like, I don't care about these lions killing people." He literally says that, by the way. He doesn't just like allude to that. He literally says, "I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's 30 people, 40 people, finish the fucking bridge or I'm going to ruin your life and your career." And that's basically what it says to him. Yeah. And I needed him to come back down there and check on what was going on. They're still behind schedule. He comes down there to check, and I want him talking mad shit about, "You're fired, you're a bitch, your baby's ugly," talking all kinds of shit. And then right when he's about to say something, boom, tiger claw, face mauled off. I want his face to explode.
Yeah, it really should have been similar to like the scene where the wife dies, but then it's like he comes down there and the tiger comes out, tackles him and everything like that, and just
I needed
brutally murders him. All the workers cheer, there's like a great celebration afterwards. The lions are there. It's like everything's okay.
Bites his dick off. Yeah, like I needed. Tom Wilkinson's such a good actor. But
Just
man,
drags him through the savannah,
yeah,
screaming.
by his dick.
Yeah,
Yeah, just oh man, I needed that character to die. And that was one thing I didn't like about the movie too is, and maybe there was a scene like this, maybe there was closure for this, but that was to me one of the biggest elements in this movie is he is such an asshole that you want to see him at least see the bridge finished. Like, oh, congratulations. Well, great job. You built the bridge, you stupid bitch. No, let's go back to
yeah,
England. And then right as he's talking shit, boom, then the
yeah. Or
lion.
maybe he slips and falls off the bridge.
Yeah, or the lion pushes him off the bridge.
Yeah,
Like drop kicks him. Fuck
or
bridges.
maybe one of the workers just slips his foot out, and just kind of trips him, and the next thing you know, he goes off, and
Yeah.
nobody cares.
And falls in, a bunch of African crocs eat him.
Yeah,
Something. I need
something.
something to happen to Tom. I don't care what it is. I don't care if he gets, some weird butthole disease, and then, I don't care. But
Yeah,
man, that was
he's just wake up in that dirty like medic tent and whatnot, and
yeah,
some guy's like amputating his leg.
for no reason. God,
Yeah,
yeah.
stop the gangrene.
Oh my gosh, Tom Wilkinson's terrible in this movie, but he's great.
Well,
He's a
he's great
terrible
in the movie.
person.
He's great. He's great being a dick, but his
Yeah,
character just literally gets away with everything.
yeah. Um, so I wonder how true that was. I wish I could have read the book in time because I wonder if Colonel Patterson, the book that he writes, he has such contempt for him in the book because he does end up dying in Los Angeles in Bel
Interesting.
Air. So maybe he's just like, I gotta get away from England and this asshole. But Ghost and Dart, it is kind of a mixed bag. This movie, there's a lot of things that work really, really well. Um, but there are some tonal shifts. There is some hijacking. There are some things that are kind of nonsensical that hold it back from being like one of the best 90s movies. I think this movie had potential to be one of the top 10 movies of the 90s. And it's still good. I still like it. Like I would buy this movie and watch it again. It's very
Yeah.
entertaining. But man, I feel like it is kind of a missed opportunity where if they would just stuck to the guns and like let Val Kilmer be the main character and, you know, Michael Douglas hubris, which is more dangerous than these lions, apparently. If that could have been kept at bay, this movie could have been way better.
Yeah, the more you mention all that kind of stuff, I could definitely see that. Like, I still like the movie quite a bit,
Me
but
too.
it's that like, yeah, it's just a fraction off from being like a totally perfect movie, and that's
Yeah.
definitely true. Like, it could be like in the top 10 like best '90s action movies, but it just falls a little bit short of making that.
Well, I think one struggle you already have with a lot of these movies, even Jaws struggled with this to an extent, is that like ultimately we have guns.
Yeah,
And it gets really convoluted when you're trying to explain why they can't kill an animal that's unarmed. No matter how big or dangerous it is, it gets difficult to explain that after a while when everybody has guns and you have these perimeters set up. And I think all movies that have like killer animals like this, unless it's set way back in the day, if it's set in a time with guns, it gets difficult to explain those things. And this movie doesn't do a great job with that either. But ultimately, it doesn't matter in the long run. But that is another struggle that a lot of even these new modern shark movies struggle with that.
yeah. Well, and that's kind of the one too. It's like it seems like that's what you should do is you at least go back to I was gonna say pre 1600s, but you could probably be with like single shot guns. That's still challenging enough. But like
Yeah,
when you do have to face a creature like these, if you had to face these lions and it was the 1400s, that's kind of a different story.
right.
You know?
Yeah, and that's nothing really against the movie. It's just a limitation of this type of storytelling in movies because guns exist. It's just like if you try to tell Home Alone today when there's cell phones, you know,
Yeah,
you can't do it.
yeah.
So,
It ends that real fast. You
yeah.
know?
But at the same time, this is a true story. So, you know,
Yeah, and
really
old
happened.
Jonathan wrote the book, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious to pick that one up at some point and just see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's public domain now, so you can read
Yeah.
all that stuff. So 100 years old book, but yeah, Ghost in Darkness is fun. I didn't buy this movie because it was really expensive for some reason.
Yeah,
But
because as I said, I went to go watch my DVD copy, and then when I saw that, I was like, nope, I'm not watching this version. So I just ended up renting it, but I didn't see it anywhere else. So
yeah, I had to rent it too. But it's one of those movies I feel like I have seen on like Tubi and Amazon and all those places, YouTube movies. So it'll probably come back around. If
yeah,
you've
we
never
just
seen
happened
it.
to hit one of those dry spells where the movie, for some reason, they're like, we're gonna see if we can get some $15 out of people right now for a bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. We're the suckers this time. It's okay. We rented it.
It might be on Paramount Plus because it is a Paramount movie.
Yeah. I thought I tried that. I think there's that real quick, everybody. There's a app called Just Watch.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. I use that all the time. And it tells you just look up a movie and it tells you if it's streaming anywhere.
Yep.
It doesn't do well with YouTube movies though.
Well, because it doesn't see, in a sense, the YouTube movies that people have uploaded. I think that's
Right.
kind of the thing.
Or,
It looks
the
at
movies that are licensed free.
yeah. It only looks at the rent and buy section there. But for the most part, you can pretty much look up Just Watch and then go to YouTube and do a search, and you've pretty much seen if it's anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. And the Ghost of Darkness is definitely one I recommend.
Yeah, it's still definitely worth watching. And if you've never seen it before, pair it with one of those other, great man versus nature type, animal hunting type movies that you don't really get a whole lot of them anymore. It's kind of a dead genre. It hasn't really existed in a long time.
You don't get many dad movies anymore. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's certain action movies that, like, you could say like a John Wick movie would be like a dad movie nowadays.
Yeah.
And all the John Wick spin-off type movies and knockoffs.
Yeah.
Jason Statham is like a dad movie. I would say his stuff is,
Yeah, but you don't get a lot of these.
But yeah.
You get a lot of you still get a decent amount of dad action movies, but you don't get enough dad like historical fiction, like, Sword and Sandals. You don't get enough of that anymore. Like you'll get a Gladiator 2 here and there. But there was so many movies like this. I mean, even Young Indiana Jones, like just a series.
Yeah.
There was stuff like this. A lot of, cowboy movies and different stuff in the 90s, but cinema
just good period piece type history stuff. That's something that's kind of a little bit lacking in a lot of movies nowadays.
And mom movies had a lot of period piece stuff. Your Jane Austen and stuff like that. You
get
still
the costume
get that
dramas.
Too. Yeah, like you still get that, but the 90s have so much more of that. And now everything's like IP or nothing. So I think we're starting to ease out of that a little bit. I think we're starting to kind of, you get a movie like Project Hail Mary do really well. And, maybe we'll kind of get to like a new future. But yeah, it's just, I miss the 90s was the best.
No, I still think it is kind of the pinnacle of cinema when you really do think about it. And I mean that
it is.
I'm not just saying necessarily the movies, like, if it's your favorite, but like it's movie technology at its highest. There's no time period where the movie technology, because movie technology kind of starts to dip in the 2000s. 2000s is still good, but that's when CG starts to take over. So movies start to feel a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say too about movies like this is like, there was a time in, like, I would say 2014 through 2019, digital had got to a place where it had surpassed film. Like, look at Mad Max Fury Road and Planet of the Apes movies and oh my gosh, Blade Runner 2049 and all these really good, The Revenant, really good looking movies that were digital and had that broader palette that the digital can offer. But now everything's starting to look so good in 4K, like so realistic and so kind of gives it that soap opera effect. The movies look like shit, especially
if people don't have their TVs properly configured. Because I always say, if I see somebody's TV has like that true motion, smooth motion, double frame rate, whatever they want to call it by each brand, it's like, you got to turn that off. You cannot be watching movies with that on.
Well, some of them now you can't even help it. Some of them it just looks like that, like no matter what, it's the way it's filmed. It's just too clear and crisp. There was this Mark Wahlberg movie that was on Amazon. recently, and it just looked like it was like a soap opera, and it looked
Yeah. Ugh.
too. It didn't have the lighting. It didn't have the film look. You know.
Well, that's because it's not shot in 24 frames. Then that's
Yeah.
really what that tells me. It's probably shot in 60 frames. The 60 frames isn't very good looking unless you're shooting like NASCAR or something like sports going really fast. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but we'll get to see the Odyssey this
Yeah.
summer in
Odyssey.
IMAX.
I'm gonna go see
Even
it
the,
in IMAX. That's my
I am
goal.
too. I'm kind of. I don't get. I'm not one person who gets turned off by woke stuff. But if Elliot Page is really playing Achilles, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
But
Like,
what the hell? I don't know.
that's what they're saying right now. That's what Twitter's all up in arms about. Is that there's some people are mad at Lupita Nyong'o is playing
Well,
Helena
that's the thing
Troy,
about
which I'm fine
Elliot.
with that.
This is the downfall to Elliot Page, though. Is it's not the fact that she's not a or whatever the hell you want to call her nowadays. I know her as Ellen Page. Shit, you know.
Yeah.
She's not big enough to play Achilles. That's Brad Pitt fucking played Achilles.
And
Give me a big woman, and maybe I'll buy it. But I'm not going to buy it with a little girl.
well, there's that whole thing that one thing Achilles had that Elliot Page is a penis.
Yeah, that too.
That's I think that goes a long way. I mean, you have Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt he's the definitive Achilles. So
Right.
Fuck off.
And you're going to go from that to, I don't know. There's a chance that that's not what they're doing, but I have a feeling that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I feel like I know she's in a couple Christopher Nolan movies, but I feel like Christopher Nolan. I don't think he would screw the pooch on that.
It's starting to feel like he did. It's starting to feel like he really did, and I hope not. But
it's either that or he's just given up on making movies. He's just like, I'm gonna whatever. No one can tell me what to do.
No, I mean he definitely didn't give up. I mean he filmed the whole movie's in IMAX.
Yeah, like he spent some fucking money.
Yeah, this thing's gonna be massive. I'm gonna go see it still, but
yeah, I'm gonna see it anyways.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
there hasn't been an actual Odyssey movie since like the 50s. There's that miniseries in the 90s. Yeah. Still pretty solid for a miniseries.
I have that on VHS actually.
Ooh, nice. I got it on DVD. But literally the 50s was the last time they made one.
Yeah.
And the 50s one's pretty good too, but
it's the Harryhausen stuff.
It might have a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
It's not as much like Sinbad or Clash of the Titans or Jason the Argonauts. It's a little bit less. It's still sword and sandals, but it doesn't have as much of those effects in it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is a great 90s classic, Prince of the Darkness.
Ghost of the Darkness. Well, this sounds weird. I gotta say this about this movie. This movie's called The Ghost and the Darkness. I always refer to this movie as Ghost in the Darkness. That sounds like what it is, but Ghost and Darkness is what their names are of the lions.
Yeah. And the lions are almost two characters in the movie, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it almost gives you sympathy for them, like you don't want them to die. Like, that's the thing about this movie is, like, I want Val Kilmer to win and get the train bridge built, but I also don't want the lions to die. They're just, like, trying to eat, man.
Yeah, they're just, what I mean? Like, they're just doing what they have to do.
Yeah. I wanted him to capture them, and then they sneak out of their cage and kill Tom Wilkinson and take him off into the jungle.
Yeah, or he captures them and then he sends a gift to Tom Wilkinson's character, and when he opens it up, it's two fucking lions and they bust out of the cage and eat them.
Yeah.
Cut the credits.
I like that better. Oh my gosh.
Credits, no music. You just hear the sound of him getting mauled by these lions.
Yeah, just oh my gosh, that would be great.
Credits roll up over that.
I need 5 minutes of it. I need 5 minutes of him screaming while they lick his skin off. Ghost in the Darkness. See it if you've never seen it. You might have to rent it right now, but it will stream again eventually. It's worth buying. It is a good 90s movie.
Yeah.
I know I talked a lot about its flaws, but it's because I feel like those flaws kept it from being like an all-time classic. And it's just a very good, memorable, fun time 90s movie. Definitely one of those ones you can watch all the way through. Keeps your attention. It's a good movie. It has some parts in it, but I still recommend this one highly. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, any last thoughts on Ghost of the Darkness before we get out of here?
Nah, it's one of those ones. every viewing is always solid, so I'm still always enjoying it. I just know that next time I am definitely upgrading my DVD.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the end of the run of this version, I'll tell you that.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel like I'll be buying this version on like for $5 at some time in the next like 2 weeks. It'll just show up for
Yeah,
$5.
that happens every once in a while where
Yeah.
you rent a movie and then like next week Fandango's like, oh, guess what's on sale this week? You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
What
A
was that?
couple. I can't remember which movie it was recently. I think it was Dick Tracy. It was.
Dick Tracy was that was when I noticed because I watched my DVD version and then like all of a sudden it's like, hey, 4K version, $5. And you're like,
Yeah.
could have been there a
I
little
was
bit
gonna
earlier.
rent it, and then literally the next day it was $5. And I'll fuck it, yeah, buying it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ghost of the Darkness, 1996. Give it a try if you've never seen it. Let us know what you think about the movie, and let us know if we were too harsh on Michael Douglas's role in this movie,
The
or
Doug.
the Doug, or some of the flaws that this movie had, which is still a fun time. So you can find us at VIA VHS on TikTok, VIA VHS Pod on Instagram. If you wander into the soulless hellscape that is Facebook, we're there too. And let us know what you think. Of course, like and subscribe if you watch this much. I mean, what the fuck? What are you doing? We're basically friends now, so please like and subscribe. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Y'all have a good one, and VIA VHS is out.